Hey everybody, Donkey Storm here, and I just got done playing around with the Guardian Druid tier set and double legendaries on the PTR, and I am really excited to go over my thoughts because I think we are going to be looking super strong in patch 9.2. So in this video, we're going to talk about what the tier set does, what it feels like to play with that, as well as the double legendaries, my takeaways, and where I think Bear is going to stand when 9.2 drops. As always, if you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more WoW content in the future. Really happy to say we hit 1,000 subs, and I'm excited to see where 2022 takes our channel. Alright, let's get started. So let's get started by looking at the Druid tier set bonuses. So in case you didn't already know, here's the deal. The 2-set bonus gives you 4 seconds of Incarn, and it is indeed Incarn if you're talented into it, not Berserk, for 4 seconds when you activate Bark Skin. The 4-set bonus gives you a buff called Architect's Aligner that basically gives you an aura that damages mobs around you when Incarn is active, as well as do some healing for yourself. And yes, the buff does apply when you get your 4 seconds of Incarn from Bark Skin and the 2-set bonus, so these tier set bonuses do synergize the way we hoped when they were first announced. So I was able to test the tier set in a couple of Mythic Plus dungeons, and I think I got a pretty good feel for how they work and what their application is. Getting 4 seconds of Incarn by activating Bark Skin felt really good. I got into the habit of popping Bark Skin at the beginning of non-Incarn pulls, which is something I tend to do anyway, and just thrashed away for 4 seconds to grab aggro on everything. Aggro issues were non-existent, and remember that UFR does apply to these thrashes as well, so not only was I building aggro and doing good damage at the start of the pull, but I was building up a bit of a shield and self-healing as well. So add to that the 4-set bonus damage aura, and I can see my DPS spike pretty hard at the beginning of a pull. This is a great quality of life change for Guardian, as aggro at the beginning of a pull is something we've struggled with a lot, kind of forcing us into the Corian Soulbind and First Strike to overcome this weakness. To really build on the 2-set bonus, I also dropped the layered main Endurance Conduit in favor of Tough as Bark, which reduced the cooldown of my Bark Skin to 48 seconds at the 265 Conduit item level, which is what we were using on the PTR. So basically, I had Bark Skin up a ton, and it did a lot of damage in addition to being a defensive cooldown. I wouldn't be surprised if this Conduit becomes the meta in 9.2, as we're going to want as many Bark Skin uses as we can. As for the 4-set, it's a little hard to speak on. It's completely passive, and I didn't really notice the healing aspect of it because UFR already does so much healing during Incarn as it is. But the damage is definitely pretty nice though, and it is a nice quality of life that I think we'll definitely want to aim for. So what about double legendaries? The way it's going to work in 9.2 is that you'll get a belt that operates as your Covenant legendary regardless of what Covenant you're currently running. That's a relief. As the way Shadowlands has been going, I wouldn't have been surprised if they made us craft 4 different legendaries, but thankfully we don't have to worry about that, at least for now. Unfortunately, at the time of this recording, it looks like you're going to need to be revered with the new 9.2 faction in order to actually obtain this belt, and some people have figured out that that's going to take 28 days of rep gains to reach that level. I really hope Blizzard reconsiders this, as it would be nice to just hit the ground running with the 2 legendaries right off the bat, but if that is indeed the case, can we please at least make it so that doing it on one character unlocks it for your alts as well, please. Did patch 9.1.5 and the Covenant and Korthia fiasco teach us nothing? Anyway, I digress. So in addition to the Covenant legendary, you can equip 1 non-Covenant legendary. For my testing purposes, I ran Kyrian with the Kindred Affinity legendary and Ursoc's Fury Remembered as well. So we've played with both of these on their own, but what was it like to run them together? Well, to be honest, it was freaking awesome. As they complement each other really well. For big Incarn pulls, I had UFR making me nearly invincible as usual, but now on top of that, I get the added stats and damage and healing and damage reduction from Kindred Spirits as well. And running these 2 together while Kindred Spirits was active during Incarn made me feel like an invincible bear god. It's already pretty hard to die during Incarn when running UFR on live, and it's only going to be more so the case when 9.2 goes live. But honestly, where I felt it the most was actually the non-Incarn pulls. Suddenly, I had a 4-second Incarn, damage aura, and self-healing at the beginning of just about every pull get some big damage out early, as well as my Kindred Affinity bond up with some very similar cooldown to Bark Skin while running the Deep Allegiance Conduit to get even more damage and survivability out. Much more exciting than non-incarn pulls on live, where you feel like you don't really do a whole lot. So one thing I'm excited for in 9.2 is that I think the skill ceiling for Bear is actually going to raise quite a bit as we learn to maximize our use of our tier set, maximize our use of Kindred Affinity. It's going to be a lot more than just spamming Thrash on your Incarn pulls. However, we are still going to spam Thrash on our Incarn pulls, so if you like that playstyle, don't worry, it's not going anywhere. So my big takeaways after spending some time on the PTR. I am super excited to run 2 Legendaries in 9.2 and Mythic Plus with this tier set. It made every pull a lot more exciting, and it ramps up our damage a lot. I don't actually raid as Guardian, but I will say as a downside, the tier set bonuses are really only going to serve to add a little extra damage and not particularly noticeable in a single target scenario. However, I do think double Legendaries, specifically Kyrian, and the tier set bonus is going to add some really fun new wrinkles to Guardian gameplay, particularly in Mythic Plus, and that's great because I think that's exactly what a tier set should do for a class. I think Guardian is going to be a really, really good Mythic Plus tank, top tier, at least equal to where they are now when it comes to Mythic Plus. And the other nice thing is that it's going to add some more fun to the playstyle, I think. So, I'm interested to know what you guys think about Guardian Druid coming in 9.2. Have you spent any time on the PTR yet? Have you gotten a chance to try this out? It's difficult to find groups to play with on there, so it can be pretty limiting your opportunities to test, but I'm really curious to know if you guys agree with me. Are you excited? Think I missed anything that needs to be added in a future video? I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment in the comment section, and as always, if you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to see more WoW content in the future. We talk a lot of Mythic Plus here, we talk a lot of Guardian Druid as well as some other specs, so hope you check out some videos. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.